How would you like to rally your team around a problem, come up with innovative solutions, and then test the best ones in just 5 days? Companies like Google, Apple, and IKEA have developed processes that inspire innovation and make them successful. For those companies, innovation is regular and predictable. When they need to improve existing products, enter new markets, or come up with new solutions, there's a process to do it. Now, while that might sound blatantly obvious, the number of companies that have a predictable way to improve and build new innovative products is pretty small. For many companies, most of them in fact, this is the reality of how work gets done. Each day, people scramble in between meetings with a combination of hope, determination, prayer, and luck. And as a result, some people stumble on a good idea occasionally, but it's unpredictable. And if they don't find a good idea that they have confidence in today, maybe they will tomorrow. And maybe it will move the company forward for a period of time, but who knows? Only teams with a repeatable system for coming up with and testing ideas can say, when we have an idea, we can quickly figure out whether or not to invest in it. Now, most companies follow a process like this. They write a detailed list of requirements, and then they hand it off to design, and then it goes and gets implemented. There's no iteration, there's no collaboration, and there's really very little teamwork. Some companies follow a process like this. Someone has an idea, they build it, they launch it, and then they see what happens. And the issue with this process is that you end up spending a lot of time building and launching, which is expensive. Why ask your team to build something they aren't even sure is valuable yet? The fastest, most competitive, most innovative companies have a shortcut. It's a way to build without wasting time, a way to show things to customers without locking in features. It's a way to learn not just if one idea works, but figure out why certain ideas aren't working at all. The world's best companies follow a process like this. Someone has an idea, and then they learn whether or not to invest more time in it as fast as possible. Now, the truth is, no matter how efficient your product or engineering or marketing team is, if you end up building and launching products or features that your customers don't want, you're wasting potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in employee time, and more importantly, in employee energy and motivation. And I've seen it happen over and over again. Teams with a shortcut to go from idea to learning, to test new features and products before building and launching them, those teams are able to outperform the competition and earn more revenue faster by building products that people want. I'm Xander Pollack. I'm going to show you how to accelerate product development exponentially to earn revenue faster while also decreasing risk and wasteful spending. I'm also going to share with you the biggest and most common mistake I've seen companies make when developing new products and services. The two things successful innovative teams have present in their day-to-day that the strugglers do not. And the simple battle-tested 5-day process that you can implement today. So these are things that I've learned working with companies like Google, Slack, Wells Fargo, Stanford, Fitbit, and Eli Lilly. I've used this same process with startups and Fortune 500 companies to help them grow their bottom line and save money by building better products faster. And over the past 2 years, I've been committed to helping teams build better products more than 10 times faster than they're used to. Really. I mean, what normally takes 3 months takes 1 week. I've used this process to assess the potential success of new businesses, improve software products with millions of users, enter new markets, and test new marketing strategies. So if you're in charge of developing a new product or improving an existing one and want to get there as fast as possible without wasting time or money, then you're definitely in the right place and you're going to love what I'm about to share with you. Now, the two types of people I work with tend to be product owners that need to align cross-functional teams to make progress fast, and senior leaders who want their team trained on how to use design thinking to meet their business goals. For example, one of my clients is a senior vice president at Silicon Valley's original startup, Varian Medical Systems. They invented the Klystron, which became a critical component of telecommunications, microwave technologies, and radar, which helped win World War II. And today, they're an $8 billion public company in Palo Alto building systems for cancer treatment. When developing a new product, Varian's traditional product development process takes months or years from concept to testable prototype. It involves complicated coordination across physics, biology, and business teams. If the prototype proves unsuccessful, hundreds of thousands of dollars in time and effort are wasted. It's important that Varian launch successful, innovative products quickly without wasting resources. So together, we built and tested a prototype for a new product in just 5 days, accelerating product development exponentially. We heard customer and clinician feedback before any engineering work was done. And within our prototype, the cross-functional technology, biology, physics, and business team members preemptively addressed key questions we knew we would get from customers, working through the thorny issues in the same room for 5 days rather than months over email. We collaboratively designed a solution that increases operating efficiencies, decreases costs, and best of all, allows more cancer patients to be treated every day. Another one of my clients is the CEO of Orbital Insight, a Sequoia and Google Ventures backed startup. When we started working together after they raised a Series A round of funding. Jimmy had a hypothesis about a new market and wanted to make sure he was right before spending time and money pursuing it. Now, instead of building a complicated new product that required months of engineering, in just 5 days, we designed a pitch deck outlining a new product offering and then tried selling it to their target customer. It led to closing a 7-figure contract, and it gave them the confidence to invest heavily in the new direction. Not too long after, they raised a Series C $50 million round of funding. This process works for big and small companies to solve complex problems. I've helped Wells Fargo strategize how to reach an underdeveloped customer group. I've helped Eli Lilly, a 100-year-old billion-dollar public company, design mission-critical internal software. And I've taught genetic scientists and researchers at Genome One how to understand their customers and build a product that regular people want to use. Now, the best things about this predictable shortcut, it gets immediate feedback on new product ideas before building anything. It aligns team members and key stakeholders behind solving a problem, not a specific solution. And it compresses months of back and forth work into a few days of focus and productivity. So, back to this question, why is it that some teams struggle to innovate and others seem to do it naturally? Well, global design firm IDEO studied innovation at over 100 companies, and their data revealed something surprising about innovation and improving existing products. The traditional approach to product development, coming up with 3 good options, analyzing them, and choosing one to move forward with, wasn't the most effective. The lean startup approach, taking a best guess, piloting it, and then pivoting based on works, also wasn't the most effective way to launch a new product. So what is it? Why is it that some teams struggle to innovate and others seem to do it naturally? Well, they found out that when teams iterate on 5 or more different solutions, they are 50% more likely to launch a product successfully. I'll read that again. When teams iterate on 5 or more different solutions, they are 50% more likely to launch a product successfully. David Eichen of IDEO said, qualitatively, we've seen that for years and years now. But as much as we'd like to say we don't get invested in a single idea, it's hard to acknowledge the faults in your baby when you've been invested for weeks or months. His advice is to get a few ideas on the table and stay flexible in terms of where the project might go. So there it is. The biggest mistake I see teams make, getting stuck on one idea. And the 2 methodologies I talked about earlier just reinforce that. The truth is, building new markets and products requires iterations, repeated failures until you succeed. More important than coming up with the right strategy right out of the gate is to make sure you don't run out of resources or credibility until you iterate to find the strategy that works. Startups have known this forever. Since we need to iterate several times, a design sprint is the easiest and fastest process to do that. It allows features, function, and styling to be changed quickly and cheaply. Now, remember how I told you that the innovative teams have two things in place that the strugglers don't? Well, the two things that successful innovative teams have that the strugglers don't are process and speed. Process is a repeatable, data-driven process to find ideas worth building and learn from missteps. And speed is a sense of urgency to experiment and learn quickly. I'll tell a story about a well-known company spending hundreds of millions of dollars to teach their employees how to use design thinking processes to develop products faster. Now, Virginia M. Rometty, IBM CEO, she's the one leading the charge. She acknowledged that it will take time before its new businesses are large enough to become engines of growth for the whole company, but insisted the strategy is the right one. She said, people ask, is there a silver bullet? The silver bullet, you might say, is speed, this idea of speed. And design thinking is at the center. So, how do design techniques in a design process actually help companies move faster? Well, here's an example from IBM. In a recent project, an airline approached IBM to improve its kiosks to speed up passenger gate check-ins. While the engineers started by improving the kiosk software, designers went straight to the gate agents to ask why the check-in kiosks weren't getting used more effectively. Designers found out that the female gate agents struggled to keep kiosks charged because their constricting uniforms prevented them from reaching electrical plugs behind the machines. By finding the root of the problem using design thinking, IBM delivered a mobile app that significantly eased the boarding process and reduced airline costs. Now imagine the alternative. Engineers would have spent months and months building new features, only to eventually discover that they didn't help. That's money and time, and again, most importantly, motivation wasted. Because the team used the design approach, they were able to quickly discover the cause of the problem and come up with creative solutions. The competitive advantage of a design process is not just beautiful products, it's also cheaper, faster iteration. Here's another question. How does your team go outside normal day-to-day maintenance-focused work to build a new, disruptive product or process? If you don't have one, then I have a recipe that might help. A design sprint is a 5-day process for answering critical business questions through design, prototyping, and testing ideas with customers. Developed at Google Ventures, it's a greatest hits of business strategy, innovation, behavior science, design thinking, and more, all packaged into a battle-tested process that any team can use. So, what does this process look like? Someone has an idea, and they learn whether or not to invest more time in it as fast as possible. Let's go through it day by day. The first part of a design sprint is an idea or a challenge to solve. Monday is map. We peer into the future to imagine what success for this project looks like and write a long-term goal that the team is motivated by. We then snap back into the present and draft a list of open questions that are current stumbling blocks in getting to that long-term goal. We draw a map of the challenge to help ground and understand the details. In the afternoon, we talk to experts inside and outside your company to help guide us. After thoroughly understanding the problem, Tuesday is focused on coming up with creative solutions. We start the day by looking at competitors for inspiration. In the afternoon, each person spends time individually sketching solutions using a 4-step process that makes it easy to communicate an idea clearly. And by the end of the day, there is a tall stack of solutions to your problem. Wednesday morning, we'll review and critique each solution to decide which ones best help us make progress towards our long-term goal. An unbiased, anonymous voting process guides the team's decision. And in the afternoon, we'll take the winning solutions and weave them together into a storyboard, a frame-by-frame plan for our prototype. Thursday, we build a prototype. It's a realistic facade of a product or service. It's just real enough to get real feedback from customers. Now, normally this process could take weeks, but because we're only focused on the surface part, and we have everyone on the team working together, we can design our prototype in a day. We'll also prepare for Friday's test by writing an interview script and confirming we have 5 people to talk with the next day. And Friday is the deadline the whole team has been working towards. You finally get to see your ideas come to life. We spend the day showing our prototype to customers in a series of one-on-one interviews. The team in a separate room watches me interview customers and learns by watching them react to our prototype. At the end of the day, we have a full whiteboard of notes, things to fix, new ideas, and key takeaways. And after 5 interviews, it's clear what needs to happen next. So, after just 5 days, you've aligned your team around a goal, come up with a bunch of great ideas, built a prototype of the best one, and received immediate feedback from customers. And so we've gone from idea to learning in just 5 days. Now, over the past 2 years, I've helped more than 100 people apply this process to their day-to-day work. I've saved Australia's premier research institute hundreds of thousands of dollars by helping them discover that their initial idea was something that potential customers didn't want. At Eli Lilly, what would normally take months of back and forth only took 5 days when we collaboratively designed internal software to speed up a critical internal process. I've also participated in design sprints along the Google Ventures team, including helping Custom Made, a marketplace, redesign their order process to boost revenue, and collaborating with Slack to grow faster by prototyping and testing a new marketing page and onboarding experience. What's great about this process is that it's really easy to learn. You can pick up the book Sprint right now for $8 on Amazon, read it, and facilitate a design process yourself. The Google Ventures team wrote the book so that anyone can learn and apply the process on their own. And it's been used successfully with teams all over the world at companies like Prudential, 23andMe, and even the United Nations. So while it is possible to facilitate a design sprint on your own, the clients that hire me prefer an expert. It's time intensive to organize a sprint, and many teams want to make sure it's executed flawlessly by someone who has done it before. So there's generally 3 reasons that you would want to hire an outside facilitator. And for me specifically, it's my sprint expertise, my product design expertise, and a pair of fresh eyes. So my sprint expertise, I've taught this process to over 100 people at organizations like Stanford and Fitbit and Eli Lilly, big companies and startups. And I was mentored by the author of the book, Jake Knapp. While I was at Google, we got to work together and I learned how to do this directly from him. I've been running sprints as my primary job for over 2 years, and this focus makes me one of the most experienced design sprints facilitators available. Second, my product design expertise. Before this, I was a Googler, and I did user experience and user interface design work for well-known products with millions of users. And I'm able to add valuable product design insight that other facilitators who just facilitate can't. I also started a company that was acquired by Google, so I have the business acumen of a founder that understands business goals and productive teams. And finally, a pair of fresh eyes. So unlike having a teammate or somebody on your team facilitate, I'm able to walk into a challenge with an unbiased, fresh perspective that doesn't take into account company politics or assume typical constraints. So who's this for? Product owners that need to align cross-functional teams to make progress fast. Senior leaders who want their team trained on how to use design thinking to impact the bottom line of their business. People who feel the pain of never-ending meetings and no progress to show. People who want to move fast and get their team moving and are motivated. So here's how working together works. First, we'll schedule a strategy session. We'll be focused on a specific and custom-tailored strategy to help you solve the 2 biggest problems that most teams face: getting stuck on one idea and moving too slowly. The strategy session takes around 30 minutes, and you'll be speaking with me personally, and I'll help you put together a strategy to use design sprints to innovate faster, align your team, and not get stuck on one idea. But here's the truth. Not all challenges require a design sprint. So the better the fit between me, you, and the project, the better the results. Knowing that we're a good fit is crucial because I need to get all of my clients' results, and to do that, I need to get them an immediate return on their investment. And again, the truth is that there are just some teams and some projects that I cannot help, and neither can a design sprint. And if that's the case, I'll be 100% upfront with you and suggest another process or a friend of mine that might be able to help. Because my time is limited as an independent consultant, I'm only looking for those who are a good fit and who I'm certain I can get results for. So the first step is to complete an application for a private strategy session. After the strategy session, you will discover whether you have the right challenge for a design sprint. I'll answer any questions you have about sprints, product design, innovation, or Google. And we'll learn if I can help you and if I'm the best person to help you see results. If it's a good fit, I'll write a proposal with project details, including my fee, and email it to you. If it's not a good fit, that's okay. I can refer you to other experts, resources, and make suggestions on how to move forward. In the past, I've helped people move forward to facilitate design sprints on their own or refer them to other experts that might be a better fit. Thanks for listening. Good luck.